إن شاء الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. نوعنا تعلم وتعليم وتذكر وتذكير والنفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والحث على التمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم ودعاء إلى الهدى ودعاء على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله مرضاته وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى مع لطف وعافية برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك علما لدني مشرب صافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك علما لدني مشرب صافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك علما لدني ومشرب صافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين.
Sorry?
What song is that? Oh, is
It's
it
the kids singing maybe.
singing?
Singing, I think
They
it's
are doing their Isha.
oh,
that
Salat
is-
Isra. Oh,
I said singing.
oh.
Masya Allah, I heard singing. Oh, it's surah. Masya Allah. The Quran is beautiful, Masya Allah. So, قال المؤلف رحمه الله تعالى ونفعنا الله به بعون الدارين. Right from the book رسالة المعاونة مظاهرة مؤازرة للراغبين من المؤمنين في سلوك طريق الآخرة للإمام الشيخ الإسلام قطب الدعوة والإرشاد الحبيب عبد الله بن علوي الحداد الحضرمي الشافعي رحمه الله تعالى ونفعنا الله به وبعلومه في الدارين. So from the book of mutual assistance, support and encouragement to those who desire from amongst the believers the path or sharing the path of the Akhirah by the great scholar and the Qutb of his time and Mujaddid Imam Al-Habib Abdullah bin Ali Al-Haddad. May Allah have mercy on him and benefit us by him in his knowledge in both abodes where we have said ومن ثمرات اليقين السكون إلى وعد الله وثقة بضمان الله والإقبال بكنه الحمة على الله وترك ما من شأنه أن يشغل على الله تعالى والرجوع في كل حال إلى الله واستفراغ الطاقة في ابتغاء مرضات الله. Right, so we are still on yaqeen, right, and we went through the different ways of gaining yaqeen, of certainty, and the importance of certainty, right, in a person's life. Right, so now he's going on into the fruits of certainty. Right, so and what it will bring you to. So the first fruit of certainty, I mean samarati il yaqeen, the first fruit of certainty, as-sukun ila wa'dillah. So the first one is to have tranquility, right, by the or to be firm and established, right, or to be settled, right, with the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Are you all there? You're on the same page? On the same page. Right, so or by the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the word wa'd in Arabic, it means the delightful promises, right, wa'd. Whereas wa'id in Arabic refers to the threats. Right, so you see the word wa'id, it is known to be the hellfire and punishment and azab. So you say threats, right, promises on a negative nature. When you say wa'ad, right, these are promises on a positive nature. Right, so what Allah has a promise of reward and in paradise on the believer. Right, so in the sense when you have yaqeen, right, so you have yaqeen that whatever you do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right, has promised goodness. Right, so when you perform your acts of obedience, when you perform your prayers, when you perform your fasting, from your zikr, your istighfar and all of that, right, when you have yaqeen and all of these things, you will see, you will be settled. Right, sukun means settled. You will be settled that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has indeed promised for you. Right, so you won't feel so agitated or you won't feel so frustrated. Right, so even like if and of course with ibadah, to do the physical ibadah, worship is one of the easiest things to do. The easiest things to do. The one that is difficult is to bear with difficulty and the dealings of people. that is more difficult. So when you know that when you serve the family, when you obey your husband, and when you do things that are bitter onto your soul, onto yourself, and it's difficult on your nafs, you have a tranquility and you're settled. That this will bring you a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you assure yourself that after this there will be a reward. There will be a reward. And that's why there's a sukoon there. There is a settlement, there is a tranquility, because you know that after all of these difficulties, there will be a reward. That's the first one. وَثِقَةُ بِضَمَانِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. As the ثِقَةُ بِضَمَانِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى follows the same meaning as number one, which is basically to have, to believe, or to trust, the guarantee that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given. So Allah has guaranteed for the slave forgiveness. Allah has guaranteed for the slave to be saved from the hellfire. Allah has guaranteed. So demand, meaning that the guarantee of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is similar. 1 and 2, they are similar. But one, it is a tranquility that you have. And number 2 is you actually believe in it. You believe, you trust that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give of what He has what He has promised the believer. And that's number 2. So so in a sense, you're not going to shake, you're not going to worry, you're not going to question, because you know these things are coming. And this helps a person get through life. Because no matter what, you know that Allah has promised this, and Allah has promised that, and Allah has promised, that the striving of a woman in her house is a jihad, is a billah. So you know Allah has promised all of these things. So you feel settled, in this, and you don't feel disgruntled. So the opposite of sukoon in Arabic, you say disgruntled, and you washwish. There is a tashwish, there is a unhappiness is going on inside a person. Alhamdulillah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. And then number 3, to place all of your concerns, and your drive with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you place your concerns with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you have yaqeen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will assist you, and He will help you. So it's from a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam onto Sayyidina Ibn Abbas, his cousin. Whereby there was one Sayyidina Ibn Abbas was on a beast with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and Rasulullah said to Ibn Abbas, "Oh my cousin, I will teach you some words. Guard over Allah's rights, and you'll find Him, and He will guard over you. Guard over Allah's rights, and you will find Him in front of you. If you ask of Allah. If you seek help from Allah. I know that if the entire world, would together to stop you, from coming to you, something that Allah has already written for you, they will not succeed in doing so, and it will come to you. And if the whole world came together to stop something that Allah has to give you something that Allah has not written for you, it will never come to you. The pens have been written and the pages have dried. So in this situation, and in the hadith, our Prophet ﷺ laid out very clear facts of life. To his cousin Ibn Abbas. And so Ibn Abbas is a young boy. And we know he was born during the Hisar, during the boycott. As Ibn Abbas was born during the boycott. So his entire life, knowing Rasulullah ﷺ, he did not go past the age of 13. Because the boycott happened 3 years before the Hijrah. And Rasul passed away 10 years after the Hijrah. So Sayyidina Ibn Abbas, you must remember, he was only barely 13 years old when Rasul passed away. But he took so much from Rasulullah ﷺ, and something as deep as this hadith, that Rasul told him that you take care of your matter with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will settle everything for you. And don't worry about the people. And when you want to ask, you ask Allah. You want to seek help from Allah. It is enough for you, Allah. And the fact of the matter is, nobody can really help you. If the whole world came together to try and help you on something that Allah did not write for you, it will never happen for you. The entire world. Subhanallah. And our yaqeen is in that. Our certainty is in that. There are people they will take means and ways to get something in their lives, and they might even go through what is haram. They might even go through haram means to get what they want in their life. And at the end of the day, who's the one who gives you? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is why, with regards to rizq, people who go through haram ways to gain their rizq. And who is the one who gives you your rizq, and who is ar-razaq? It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So wal-iqbal. Wal-iqbal. It means to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your full aspiration, your full drive, all of your concerns. You place it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَتَرْكُ مَا مِنْ شَأْنِهِ أَنْ يَشْغُلَ عَنِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. And to leave, anything in yourself that would occupy you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what serenity will bring you to. Because serenity, in fact, brings you away from what la ya'nik, what does not concern you. So a lot of matters come to us, we worry, with this, with that, and it's all actually, this is why it's in Minhaj al-Abidin, about things that do not concern you. And they distract you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in Minhaj al-Abidin, Imam Ghazali, he actually speaks about the 4 distractions from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What are they? They are rizq, your rizki, your provision. The decree is distracting. It is distracting because people having displeasure in the decree. It's distracting. And then calamity is also a distraction. Calamity happens to everybody. But if it stops someone from worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's become a distraction. And the 4th one is fear. Fear distracts people from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَتَرْكُ مَا مِنْ شَأْنِهِ أَنْ يَشْغُلَ عَنِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. To leave, all matters in his life that distract him from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because why? He has yaqeen that death is coming. The day of judgment is coming. All of these things are coming. He has full certainty in all of these things. So why would he allow for distractions to come into his way of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Then number 5, وَالرُّجُوعَ فِي كُلِّ حَالٍ إِلَى اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. And to turn in every matter, to turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yaqeen brings you there. Yaqeen brings you to this method, that whatever happens to you in your life, whatever grievances, whatever sadness, whatever problems, whatever disturbances, what do? You run to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So yaqeen gives you a certainty, that is like none other, on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is just before I came here, I was doing the primary 4 books. I'm now on 4B. So I've done 1B, 2B, and 3B, now on 4B. And I was referring on to the 4A to see there's a flow in discussion. So because in primary 4, they're 10 years old, you bring them up, into maturity. Because they're 10 years old in Singapore, primary 4, 10 years old. So they're able to they're able to be in puberty. They can be in puberty. So I bring them into the context, of aqidah, fiqh, sirah, and tasawwuf, and akhlaq. You bring them into the entire world of the mukallaf, the world of those who are held accountable. So I can't remember what topic it was, but it was an aqidah topic that I just came across. I put it on my status, on my WhatsApp status. You can check it later on the Tarimi number, not on the Singapore number. That one's not used. I never remember writing all these things because it happened 2 years ago. I don't remember that I wrote down these conversations in the books. But one of the chapters was on the trait of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah knows. Allah knows. So the dialogue happens between Zainab and her mother. So the mother comes. So the dialogue goes. That you can see it on my phone's not with me, but you can see it on my WhatsApp. I screenshot the page. Guys, it's a timely reminder, mashallah. So Zainab and her mother, Zainab's upset. And Zainab's 10 years old, mashallah. And her mother says to her, you look upset, and you want to speak about it, you want to tell me about it. Then Zainab said, yes, I am very upset about something that happened in school with one of my friends. But if I tell you, I will be saying something bad about my friend. Right? And you told me that I can't say bad things about my friends. Right? It counts as riba, it's backbiting. And then the mother said, that is correct. And you are right. Right? If you tell me, you'll be backbiting about your friend to me. Right? But rather, and it goes, then I don't know what to do. Right? I feel so lost. I'm so upset, I'm so down, I'm disappointed, right, with what happened in school, and I can't even talk to you about it, right, because they will count as backbiting, right? And then the mother says to her, well, you can talk to the one who saw everything that happened, right? And you can bring your conscience to him, and you can tell him everything you want to tell to him. Do you know who he is? And Zainab goes, I don't know. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is none that I will turn to, that I will turn to, to face all my issues to, except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's a mature conversation, mashallah, right? But she's coming to maturity. So the mother's leading her in this, right? Mashallah. So I hope that these books, open up, conversation, right, between parent and child, between teachers and students, right, whereby you go into maturity, right? So, but I put it at 10 years old. Many adults don't get this yet, mashallah. Right, because it does fall under riba. So there's a full conversation with the mother and Zainab. And at the end of the conversation, right, the mother says that, so right, that whatever's making you upset, the only one who can help you is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even if there's nothing you can do about it, you're just upset right now of what has already happened, then only Allah can remove the sadness from your heart. I can't do it. I'm your mother, but I can't do it. And only Allah can remove the grief from your heart. He can remove the pain in your heart that you feel about someone, right? Only He can do that. And then she said, can Allah do that? So of course Allah can do that. He can remove whatever sadness is in your heart, and He can make you a happy person. Mashallah. So the conversation goes in this way, and the mother answered by saying, and I will teach you something that the Prophet ﷺ taught his beloved cousin Sayyidina Ibn Abbas. That was the hadith that I quoted. I saw the hadith that I quoted the hadith. It's fresh in my memory because I was referring to the book before coming here, and I saw this conversation that was there. I don't remember writing it. Mashallah. Not just in the books, I don't remember writing. And then when I review, I'm like, subhanallah, mashallah. And that is also one of the miracles of the Prophet ﷺ, because I think this the other day, I can't remember where I heard this, right? But either it was Zainab, I think, right? But she was saying that people were blaming the Prophet ﷺ, right, that he wrote the Quran, and they were claiming that he wrote the Quran. She said, any one of you here who actually writes books, can you quote your entire book word for word? And you wrote it? And I just smiled to myself. I couldn't even remember writing that story. Mashallah. What more quote the entire thing word for word? And so she said, that is proof in itself, right? That the Quran, he could recite it word for word every single time, exactly as it is. Its proof is not from him. Right? It's from God subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I remember I was smiling to myself because I was like, I write a lot of books and I can't quote my books. Sometimes I don't remember that I wrote the story in there. To the point now, I'm getting one of my students in Singapore to write down a catalogue of stories. So I don't accidentally repeat stories. It's over 6 years and 40 chapters per level. There's how many stories per chapter? I mean, every chapter I put one story in. So 40 times 6, right? That's 480. 480. Is it correct? 40 times 6. 240 stories, right? Correct? 240 stories. So I was so fearful that I'm repeating stories. Mashallah. I can't remember that I wrote these stories before. Mashallah. So I had one of my students write down a catalogue of stories so I can cross-reference and see which story I put where. And sure enough, I repeated about 3 or 4 stories in the B books. Right, so it's a good thing I checked first. And I went to change the stories over. Alhamdulillah. But mashallah, one of the proofs of his Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right, that even your own writing, you can't quote it. For me, I have to do poems as well. Poems and nasheeds and so on, everything. If I don't revise what I wrote myself, I forget what I wrote. Subhanallah, subhanallah. So there's one of the proofs of the Quran. He could recite it each and every time exactly as it was. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. MashaAllah. I said you can find it on my status. I put it out on my status because it was a timely reminder, MashaAllah. نعم. I said رجوع في كل حال إلى الله تعالى, to return in every matter to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, واستفراغ الطاقة في ابتغاء مرضات الله. And when you have full yaqeen, you would spend all of your energy to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is where Imam Abu Hanifa was said to be quoted that once his son, who was always with him, to serve him, and his son, and they would go from place to place doing da'wah, and non-stop. And the son would say to him, like, oh my father, when are we going to rest? And he would say, our rest is in our grief. But right now we're in the abode of work. It's work here. Rest later on. Subhanallah. And so, mashallah, those who understand this matter of this dunya, and you have full yaqeen that this dunya is coming to an end, you will not find any time to waste at all. So today one of my students messaged me. She was like, some of the because for me, I'm very much against all of this, media stuff and like Netflix, whatever. And it's just going on all over the world. For me, like hawla wala quwwata illa billah. As someone who's still watching it, who's still doing it, who's still playing computer games at this age, in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 20s, have you not understood? Have you not understood? Think about it. That's what yaqeen brings you to. Do you not have yaqeen? Is a day of judgment coming? And as the hadith goes, one subhanallah is a level in paradise. One subhanallah. Right? And if you can actually bring yourself to waste time like that, hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Have you not understood? You have no yaqeen. You have no yaqeen. Subhanallah. So then she was like, so I know, so for years my class have been very, very firm on all of these things, like this is a waste of time. It is no one can argue it is a waste of time. Lots of almost everything, on Netflix, on YouTube, on whatever. Unless you're very disciplined and you only go for classes, and you go for what is like nasheed, or you go for what is beneficial, in this media, and you don't actually enter into anything that wastes your time. Subhanallah. So she was asking me today. She was like, she's looking for classes in Singapore. I had to go for because I left Singapore. I'm trying my best to keep up with my online classes. It's so hard on me to kind of marry two lives together. I'm trying to marry two lives together. By the she was saying that she just heard one of the asatiza saying things like it's okay to watch Netflix. You can watch it. And she was like, I watch it too. The asatiza, and I'm like, even as an ustaza, right? Even if you do watch it, don't say it because you're a qudwa. You are a leader. You're a qudwa taqtadi bi. Right? So people are following you. Right? So even if you watch it, right, don't see it. Right? Because then you make it okay for people to waste their time. Because even the ustaza wastes her time. Right? So everybody finds it as a green card to waste their time. And I'm like, I don't know. I just don't know. Like how someone could see that. I don't want to judge her. Right? But like from classes, teaching, and studying, and memorization, and revision, and writing, right? Who finds time? If you have a husband, if you have children, who in the world finds time to sit down and watch some show? Seriously? I'm really wondering, where do you get that time? I'm trying to find time to do more. I have like a backlog of things on my list of things to do. Mashallah. And subhanAllah, keeping up with habits classes, keeping up with and it's not possible if someone's teaching and not studying at the same time. Wherever you go, you must be consuming, otherwise you can't be giving. And I know the moment I stop hearing Habib, I can't give anymore. There has to be a flow from the awliya. There has to be a flow from the awliya. So you just use the passageway of the English tongue. But they are the ones who's flowing through. Subhanallah. So I just kind of bring my mind around it. Where do you find that time? Where do you find time to sleep? No time to sleep, mashallah. So Allahu A'lam, like for me, it's kind of statements, I get so grieved when people say this kind of things, and there are people who are teaching the religion. Be a qudwa, have responsibility, right? Take responsibility, be a guide, a leader. So even if you do this kind of nonsense, even if you do, just keep quiet about it. Right? Don't tell anyone about your eye. It's an eye. It is an eye. It is a flaw. It is a dhanb as well as a sin. Because what are you watching? So we see somebody's on it. Yani. Allahu Alam. I till today I don't know how to work it. I've not got into it at all. So I have no idea how it even works. I just know of its existence. I don't want to go into these things. You know what they are. YouTube itself, it's a I make it that only my subscriptions come out. That's the only habit comes up. Right? But then they have all this random stuff, right, that they put everywhere. So anyway, استفراغ طاقة في ابتغاء مرضات الله. This is where we are at. Because if someone has yaqeen in the hereafter, if you know every moment of your life will be questioned in the hereafter, you will not see that watching certain things out. Because I've heard of some of my students who say that a particular ustad would say that after you've done your Quran, you've done your Sunnah prayers, it's okay to sit down and watch some drama series. And if your yaqeen is very strong, you would not do that. Because halas, I've done my prayers, I've done my Quran, I have something to fall asleep. Okay, now it's a good time to read some books. I don't find time to read books. There's so many books you want to read, mashallah. So you can sit down and watch some drama series, some I don't know what it is. We were just talking about it during our Fiqh Tahawla class. Every Ramadan, in the Arab world, I'm sure in our world not when they do the same thing, but in the Arab world, every Ramadan, they put on the best drama, soap operas, but in the Arab world, I think.
Indonesia say Indonesia.
Is it?
Pakistan saying.
What's wrong with them? Seriously, what's wrong?
Especially near Maghrib, like from Asar to Maghrib, it's like the best sinetron they call Indonesia.
I think it's a sign that Allah wants to protect us. He wants to protect from these things. So because you're serious, if you're serious, the time before Maghrib, Quran, and you will miss your series. Good, miss your series. Good. Don't try to catch up on it. It's a waste of time. Right? But although what's wrong? Why? So Shaitan and Dajjal, all in this, and then people fall for it.
Yeah.
Right? And between Maghrib and the Isha. A golden hour. Subhanallah. Golden hour. Maghrib and Isha. Subhanallah. Here in Tarim, with Maghrib and Isha, after doing all the hour and stuff like that, they actually play Qasas al-Haq. Maghrib and Isha. Habib's Qasas al-Haq, his stories from the Quran, is between Maghrib and Isha. So usually I record it because I'm doing my own ibadah, but when I'm on my menses, I'm sitting there. Hearing all of Habib's recordings, mashallah. Mashallah, alhamdulillah for our shuyukh, for the ulama. They teach us how to spend our time well. But you do wonder, Indonesia has it, Pakistan has it, the Arabs have it.
We also in the kitchen.
At
that time, in our culture, always be in the kitchen.
Yeah. Yes, subhanallah.
The new generation, yes, very true.
We with in-laws, if we not cook properly, like so many dishes.
Yeah, this is a mentality to be changed also,
Very hard to change
Ramadan, ya Allah. It is also a culture, a mentality, it's a lot of things, subhanallah. May Allah give us tawfiq. So istifragh at-taqa, to spend the utmost of your energy fi ibtigha'i mardatillah, in seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is why you find the awliya, they go from Isha to Subuh in prayer. That is what it means, to spend their utmost. Because they know the night prayer is where the treasures are. I find of the awliya between Maghrib and Isha, they don't waste their time at all. Because they know the treasures there. So they spend the utmost, of their energy to seek Allah's pleasure. SubhanAllah. So you're not talking about, do the minimum wajib. You're talking about doing the best, the most you can. And in Tarim, you will find this over and over again. You find this. So they don't even, when you speak about the rest of the world, arguing about 11 rak'ats or 20 rak'ats Tarawih, right? In Tarim, they're doing 100 rak'ats. Right? So we're not talking about 20 or 11, 100. Right? You do Tarawih in one mosque, then go to another mosque, Tarawih there, go to another mosque, Tarawih there, 20. I do 5 Tarawihs in one night, they have 100 rak'ats. So this is called really like giving all of their energy out, like in Ramadan. And how about Aisha mentioned that during her class that when Tarim, they used to come out of Ramadan shrunk and pale, because so much energy they put in Ramadan to get the most of Ramadan, and how little they used to eat, right, so as to get themselves light, right, to do so much ibadah. So they'll come out of Ramadan pale and thin. Right, they'll come out of Ramadan yellow. They call it yellow. About pale, pale and thin and weakened, because of how much they put in Ramadan. This is what you call istifragh al-taqa. It means to give. Istifragh means to empty out. You empty out. Taqa means all of your energy. The very last bit of energy you put into your worship to seek Allah's pleasure of you. MashaAllah. Allah wa ala jumla falyaqin أصل الإيمان وسائر المقامات الشريعة والأخلاق المحمودة والأعمال الصالحة من فروعه وثمراته والأخلاق والأعمال تابعة لليقين قوة وضعفا صحة وسقما. قال لقمان عليه السلام لا يستطاع العمل إلا باليقين ولا يعمل العبد إلا بقدر يقينه ولا يقصر عامل حتى ينقص يقينه. ولهذا قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم اليقين الإيمان كله. إن شاء الله. So here he says, so, in summary of what is yaqeen. Yaqeen, it is the basis of your iman. So we mentioned just now, right? Those who can waste time, where is their iman? Right? If you have iman, you can die at any point in your life. You can die at any point in time. Right? If you have iman in that, if you have yaqeen in that, you will not find it in yourself the ability to waste time. And recently we spoke about giving out in wealth, right? So giving out in charity, right? Or even on zuhud. Right, so if you have yaqeen that every dollar will be questioned and every dollar will be weighed on a day of judgment, how it was used. So the strength of your yaqeen will translate to your usage of these dollars. What are you gonna do? You're gonna spend it, to be wasted, or you're gonna spend it on something that you will see in the hereafter. As Rasulullah said to Sayyidina Aisha when he started goat, and he gave out everything, of the meat of the goat in charity, except for the head. And he asked Sayyidina Aisha, Ya Aisha, what do we have left? She said, we have nothing left except for the head. And then he said, rather, we have everything left for us except for the head. So what you give out, that's for you. Or you keep to yourself, it's not for you. Subhanallah. I said, that's yaqeen. So in your yaqeen, you will see wealth differently. You will see time differently. You will see amana, your trusts of your children and your health and your family all differently. These are all trusts that Allah has placed in your hands. As you see all as differently, it's not to serve your nafs, but it's something that you will be questioned for on the day of judgment. Now, وسائل المقامات الشريعة. So yaqeen, it is the basis of iman. right? And then it forms all of the positions in the Sharia, not Sharia, Sharifa. I was in Maqamat al-Sharifa wal-Akhlaq al-Mahmuda. So yaqeen brings you to all of the stations that are noble. Yaqeen. And it brings you to a beautiful character. And that is where the prophets get their beautiful character. Because they have yaqeen in the day of judgment. So they know every word from their tongue will manifest as something on the day of judgment. And from there, their akhlaq improves. Right? From there, how they respond to people improves. Because they know all of this will come out as something on the day of judgment. Subhanallah. Right? وَالْأَعْمَالَ الصَّالِحَةِ, and deeds that are righteous, that are beautiful. So all this is what yaqeen will bring you to. وفروعه وثمراته وأخلاقه والأعمال تابعة لليقين قوة وضعفا. So with regards to if yaqeen, and all of these deeds of its original states, or of the fruit of these deeds, the akhlaq, and so your akhlaq and your deeds, it will be in response to how strong your yaqeen is or how weak your yaqeen is. So a weak yaqeen will show a lack of deeds. And basically istiqamah goes back to yaqeen. So if you have full yaqeen that 2 rak'ats before Fajr is for the entire world and all that's in it, you will never leave it. You have full yaqeen that all of the sunnah prayers, they are to cover up the flaws in the wajib. You will never leave it. You have full yaqeen that charity will cause your sins to be forgiven. You will never leave it. Mashallah. So it goes back to your yaqeen. So when your yaqeen is weak, that's when you don't really do all these deeds anymore. So you have full yaqeen that charity will remove calamity. From the Hajj of Rasulullah, charity will remove calamity. You have full yaqeen, you give out in charity, and so on and so forth. وَصِحَّةً وَسُقْمًا, in good health and also in illness. So when you have strong yaqeen, your akhlaq and your deeds will follow in the strength of your yaqeen, and also in the health of your yaqeen, or the strength of your yaqeen, whether you are in a healthy state or you are in a you're not well. Your yaqeen will show for you. What did they translate as?
Words and actions are strong or weak, sound or unsound, according to the strength, or otherwise upsetting.
So Luqman, he said to be a prophet or he said to be a righteous man. As Luqman al-Hakim, he said that no deed can be done except with yaqeen. That means you can't do something purely and fully. And one of the Imams, Imam Malik, when he was asked, how do you get so much khushu' and hudur in your prayer? How are you so focused in your prayer? So he says, with yaqeen. When I come up with the prayer, I know Allah's watching me. Yaqeen, Allah's watching me. And I know behind me is the angel of death. With yaqeen, the angel of death is behind me. And on my right is paradise, and on my left is the hellfire. And I am on the sirat. So when I go and pray, I have yaqeen, this is the state of affairs around me. So how can I not have khushu' and hudur? MashaAllah. But the state of our prayers shows the level of our yaqeen and how far we are from our yaqeen. Subhanallah. So this is وَلَا يَعْمَلْ عَبْدٍ إِلَّا بِكُتْرَةِ يَقِينِهِ. And a servant only acts according to the strength of his yaqeen. وَلَا يُقَصِّرَ عَامِلَ حَتَّى يَنْقُصُ يَقِينُهُ. And someone who's acting, he will not fall short until his yaqeen falls short. And so you stop doing all the good deeds that you do, when your yaqeen on these good deeds will become less. When you listen to your yaqeen. And from the hadith of Rasulullah, al-yaqeenul imanu kulluhu. Yaqeen is the entire of iman. And that's why it can increase and it can decrease. So now he says here, وَأَهْلُ So to increase your yaqeen and to increase your yaqeen, it goes back to your amal. I say to your amal, to your deeds. You force yourself on the deeds to get your iman to increase. And it is that, and it's basically like you said, it is a cycle. With an increase in iman, increase in deeds, increase in deeds, increase in iman, increase in iman, increase in deeds. So lesser deeds, lesser iman, lesser iman, lesser deeds, lesser deeds. So it's a vicious cycle basically. One will lead to another. So ahlul iman fi وأهل الإيمان في اليقين على ثلاث درجات. The people of Iman in Yaqeen, they're on 3 levels. What are they? The first الأولى أصحاب الإيمان وهي درجة أصحاب اليقين تصديق الجازم مع إمكان التشكك وتزلزل لو جاء ما يقتضيه أو يعبر عنه بالإيمان. That's the first level. And the second level, then درجة الثانية وهي درجة المقربين, and the third one درجة الثالثة درجة النبيين وكمال ورثتهم. There are 3 درجات and 3 levels. So the first level is the lowest level of yaqeen. They are the people of Ashabul Yamin. Ashabul Yamin. So people of the right hand. They are the lowest level of yaqeen. The second level will be the muqarrabin, those who are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the third level are the prophets and those who perfectly inherit the prophets, inshallah. So the first level, that they have a belief, a belief in what they have taken from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They believe in the hereafter, they believe in this world, they believe in the hereafter, they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the angels, in the reward, in the punishment. But they can have doubts here and there, right? And the doubts here is not kufr, right? But it's just, it shows in their actions. So they get lazy about things. It's possible they get lazy about doing some sunnah acts, and then they do some makruh acts, so, right? So these are the so they can shake, right, in their iman, but not so much, a bit, right? But there are people who are successful and they have iman in their hearts, but they need work, right, inshallah. And they are those of the right hand. It says they'll get their books in the right hand. That's the first level, right? So most Muslims, inshallah, right, they're on the first level. Right, the first one is here. Most Muslims are there, inshallah. And even you might even say that actually most of them are not on there, right? Because they're acting in a way whereby as if the next world does not exist. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Right, so number 2, whenever I speak about these things, like it is grievous that whenever the Habaib they speak, like the Habaib here, they will always speak against the culture of entertainment in our time. And it's grievous that people in Tarim have brought their entertainment sets, right, into Tarim to have their entertainment here as well. Right, so the hawla wala quwwata illa billah, amongst our community, subhanallah. And my brother is the one who'll be like, you'll be shocked at how many people bring their own Xbox set, their own entire gaming set, their own entire whatever set, into Tarim. That if you have come to run away from the world, don't bring your world with you. Right? So I remember when I was in Syria studying there, there were some students who were in the same house as me, right, and they were playing card games in the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. Right, 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. You do not play card games. Right? So and I had to voice out because it was getting too much. Because the school gives like a holiday, I have ijazah for the first 10 of Dhul Hijjah, right? Why you're supposed to do worship? And Nabi Umar would always say to us, you only have Friday off to do more worship. Friday's off not for you to go and waste time. Right? Friday's off for you to do more worship. Right? And if you're not going to do worship, you can have school on Friday as well. Inshallah. Right? So the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, they usually have those days off to do more worship. Ramadan's off to do more worship. And not for you to just sleep the entire day, waste your time. So I remember that I would say to them, that this is the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. And you're giving off from school for you to do more Quran, to do more istighfar, to do more la ilaha illallah, to do more of these things, not to waste your time like this. SubhanAllah. So and that's why it is an understanding. It is an understanding Because people can come all the way to Tarif and spend that luggage space bringing all kinds of rubbish, right, from your world back home. SubhanAllah, it's luggage space. Right, bring some books. I have a lot of books to bring. I'm from Singapore. And bring things that matter. I can even bring clothing for the people here. They are poor people. I can bring so much, can fill your... So again, luggage space. It's a choice. You want to put an entire sound system with Xbox in there. Right? And there are people who do that. Right? Or do you want to fill it with things for the poor here? What are you going to do with your luggage space? SubhanAllah. And when you go back home, same thing. What are you going to do when you bring things back home? MashaAllah. Right, so it is grievous that al-Habaib, they are grieved. Right, that people come here and they bring their filth here. Right, it's supposed to be purified. Right, and the other day I went to one I was with my husband, and he was going to buy some breakfast. So we went to one of the shops nearby here. Right, and I think it was during Nabi Allah's time. So most of the shops were not open. The shop was open. So when we went there, my husband came up, he was like, I'm not going to buy from the shop anymore. And I said, why? And he said, they sell cigarettes here. Right? And this is something that is so su'ul adab. Right? Because in the sense, they are not Tarimis. They're not Tarimis. They're from other parts of Yemen. And they have run here as refugees. Right? From other parts of Yemen. You come to Tarim, mashallah, respect the land. Right? And respect our sheikh. Right? Our sheikh has said haram. Right? Cigarettes, haram. But haram. No discussion, haram. And in fact, not just him, but all over the world since the 1960s, by the way. The fatwa all over the world since 1960s is that cigarette smoking is haram. It's not makruh. Those who say makruh, they're living in the 1960s. You're like 90 years ago. Subhanallah. You're like 60 years ago. Subhanallah. Right, so anyway, our Shaykh has said it. Not just him, all the way back to Bamba Saudan, his time. They're already saying it's haram. Right? So this is why it's not sold in Tarim. But now it's being sold. And in Tarim, why? Foreigners come in. And foreigners from different lands, right? Not just from Yemen, from outside of Yemen, they bring in their filth. Right? So if you want to come here, because you're running from the dunya, don't bring your filth with you. Leave your filth behind. And come here pure. Respect the land. And you come here and respect the land. So that for me, like personally, I know the Habaib and the Hababas, they are grieved that foreigners bring their filth here. I don't bring your filth here. Really bad. So come here with pure intention. You don't want to bring. When the World Cup happens, you will find the Habaib speak so strongly against it. The World Cup. But what do you do? What do you have? People in our community gathering in houses watching the World Cup. Are they not hearing the Habaib? They understand the Habaib. The Habaib has spoken clearly and strongly in the khutbahs against it. You come here, leave it. You can't break off the addiction. Right? Think about it. 90 minutes of one. Anyone who's 90 minutes, so 1/2. I don't know. Right, but basically that kind of time to watch a game. Think about it. My husband was shocked when my husband came. He was like, people were inviting him to watch the World Cup. He said in Singapore, he was not watching it. He came to Tarim and people were inviting him to watch the World Cup. In Tarim. He said, I came here not to do this. I came here to study, to be serious. And it's just su'ul adab. Su'ul adab against our Shaykh. Because our Shaykh does not like it. Don't come to his land and do what he does not like. They're going to Medina. Shaykh Hamad Yusuf once when we went to Medina, it used to be that in Mecca and Medina, they would not allow smoking. It used to, back in the day. When Hajj had a campaign against smoking, a full campaign. Now in the hotels, you have the ashtrays in the hotels. They are smoking everywhere in Mecca and Medina. So Shaykh Hamza once when he came and he first saw they had now embraced smoking. Because money is money. It's just what brings in their economy. But of course Allah is a Razak. He took all the ashtrays in the hotel and he brought to the counter and said, what is this filth? In front of the Prophet's Qubbah, you have no adab, you have no manners. Right? The Prophet is right there. His Quba is right there. It's kind of filth in Medina. But now it's even worse what they're showing on the screens in Mecca and Medina. No adab to Allah's house and to the Messenger of the Prophet ﷺ. Because why? No yaqeen. And lack yaqeen. Are you in the place of the awliya? It's the land of the awliya. Do you dare do something that is sinful here? Do you dare? MashaAllah. There's this streets that awliya walked on. Or don't you dare? Subhanallah. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Anyway, my husband said we're gonna boycott that shop anymore. We're not gonna buy from them anymore because they sell cigarettes.
So which shop is it? Which shop?
It's down the road here. When you go to the Masbahah. Right? To the swimming pools. So you go down the road here, right? When you come out here, right? You go down the road. Then it goes on the right. It goes to the swimming pools. There's a shop right there at the corner. That is why they're there. They're not in. They don't dare be within the neighborhood of the Mustafa. They don't dare. But even the cyber cafes, right? If you've seen cyber cafes here in Tarim, don't allow your boys to go anywhere near the cyber cafes. Right? They are. And Madhab Safi, they sell cyber cafes. Cyber cafes have filth in them. Filth. The Habaib have spoken strongly against the cyber cafes. Right in front of the Mustafa. There is Zahra right there. And all the men, all the young men are all there. Right? So I know amongst in the community, the men, they will watch out for each other's boys. Right? The sense to not allow for the boys to enter cyber cafes. It's full of, you see, even at the area outside, they promise games and series and movies and all kinds of things. The cyber cafes. Right? I mean, it is dunya. We are in Tarim is Jannah, mashallah. Right? But it's dunya. Nonetheless, dunya nonetheless. Right? So, and these are people who have no yaqeen. In what are they watching? And the filth that they're consuming. I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us in this. And so it's all reminded to the self first, and to everybody else that we are in a world where it's a choice. Right? It is a choice. No one can say that when you go back home, I'm forced into all this filth. No. I know people in Singapore, they are cleaner in their lives than people living here. They're cleaner. Right? They don't watch all this filth. They don't hear all this filth. And they're right in the heart of a Western country. As some of the mashayikh in the West, right? They're in the heart of a Western country, and they are cleaner in what they do every day with their children and their families, as opposed to some people who are in Islamic countries, Islamic societies. Basically, it's a personal choice. It's a personal choice. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us tawfiq. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Al-Fatiha. Anna Allah yarzuqna wa nafa'na amalan khatiman wa وإلى أرواح المعلمين مشايخنا والزوج علينا وإلى حاضرنا بمسر الفاتحة.